good old Kelly Rowland. And so
Ooh.
what she's talking about in regards to being a successful woman as well as being a married woman and what that's like being that her husband is supportive of her and how she's able to do what she do. So let's listen to what she has to say about it, and then we'll give our thoughts on it. And again, this one's a little bit longer too. So again, if you hear anything that you want to stop and mention, I'll definitely do that. Just let me know. All right, let's get to it.
And you have so many projects. You're a wife, you're a mother. It could be such a cliche question. How do you handle it all, right? But truly, you know, I see so many, I aspire to be a wife and mom one day. And there's so many people out here that have told me you have to choose. If you want to be a wife and mom, the career's got to take a backseat, or it needs to be something less demanding. Or if you want to go all in on your career, say goodbye, or just forget about the husband and the kids. My God has continuously told me that's not going to be my story, and I cannot subscribe to that. But I'd be lying to you if I said that it doesn't come to mind.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to women who struggle with having a successful and thriving career and are being told the personal life is going to have to either take a back seat or just not be as successful?
Well, number one, be careful who you receive advice from. I do think that sometimes, even if it's people that you love, and sometimes your elders that you love around you, they might have felt like they couldn't do that, but that ain't got nothing to do with you. That's number one. Number two, get you a partner who wants to celebrate that part. You know what I mean? And literally look at you in your eye and say, let's do this. Let's figure it out together. Let's make a plan to do it, because that's what it took from me and my husband. My husband and I had a plan, and he is just Superman. Like, I don't know how I chose him, because all of my stuff would tell you, nope, that's not the one you're supposed to choose. I was totally supposed to choose somebody different. Like, meaning like my trauma was supposed to give me somebody completely emotionally unavailable, unhealthy. You know what I mean? But I chose up because I thought more of myself. So I chose a really good man. And I'm really proud of myself for choosing a really good man. And I'm so proud of us for wanting to do this together and having a plan together. It's not easy, but it's not hard when you have a great team around you that helps you execute it. It's not just me. Like, I'm grateful to have, a community that helps me figure everything out. It's like, okay, I'm going to be gone. All right, my husband is going to be gone this time. All right, I'll come home. I got the kids from here. You get them from Wednesday to this day. I have to go this time. You know what I mean? And I have help. You know what I mean? Like, I'm grateful to I call Sam my right hand, who's like, she's not an assistant. She's my right hand. So I have my right hand. I have my nannies. I have my family to come in and out. My husband's family that comes in and out. I have a community. It's not just me. So they'll see my goals list and they're like, all right, how are we going to get there? And we get there. And here's the thing. Some things do suffer. Like, everything's not going to be prioritized all at once. That's just the truth of the matter. And I heard somebody say that online, and like, something will take a back seat because some things are more important than others, whether it's like, right now, like, it's the tour. You know what I mean? And in between the tour, like, I get to like go and be with my kids. Don't get me wrong. My phone is on 28 hours of the day, 24, whatever it is, 24 hours of the day. Like, I'm always there for them as a mother. And I'm making sure that if I'm not there, I'm there. Like, we have 3 days off between the tour. At the top of the week, I either shop for them, or if I go back home and I make pancakes, I make Titan's favorite fish. I do, you know what I mean? And it's all stuffed in the refrigerator. I leave back out Wednesday. Like, you figure it out. You figure out a way to be there. But above anything, you have got to be there for yourself. I'm learning a tough lesson about self-care right now. Like, just self-care, like, because it's so many arms that we have as women. Women, we give ourselves to the world. But when we come home and we're depleted, what do we have to give? and I want to still be able to give because I like giving. I like connection and I like connecting. So yesterday I had my first self-care day in a very long time. So please give to yourself too. If that all makes sense. That's the
Yes, it
advice.
does.
All right. So, what are y'all thoughts on that? What are y'all thoughts? If y'all listen to it, make sure you mute it in the background because I can hear the echo. But what are you guys' thoughts on what Kelly
I,
Rowland was saying?
I got one thing to tell
Oh,
y'all right.
go ahead, Marcus.
It's crazy. It's all the men and the women are both in this whole thing agreeing with the fuck she's saying. Like, so it's not like, I mean, she's a definitely successful person. We're not saying anything. I think we all just agree, like, way she's acting is fucking amazing, right? Like, that's what I see. I see the men and the women both are like, yo, this is the way it should be. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Well, I think that it's 100% possible to do all of the things that she's doing if you have the right partner, just like she said. I mean, I don't want to use myself as an example. I mean, I don't. I'm a successful woman myself, and I've been able to maintain a lot of things by myself. But I would not try, even attempt to have kids, have a marriage, if I didn't have somebody who was definitely on the same page with me and was like, hey, yeah, I see you already have this business thing you're doing or this. I want to support you with that as well as do your own thing because obviously men need to have their own thing too. I would never want to be in a situation like what's that house about Candy and Todd. Seems like he was supporting her 100%. He didn't really have his own thing going on for a while, and it kind of messed up their of course according to the streets. But I agree. I think that it's not something that women have to put to the side, saying you can't have a business or something going on and also have a relationship and a family. I think it just takes y'all be choosing the wrong people. I mean, let's just be honest. You choosing the wrong man or you're choosing the wrong woman, whatever the case may be. It's gotta everything has to go together for it to work. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Hey, believe me. So would you say you would say you're a strong woman, right? Like,
I mean, I don't like that
I
term.
mean,
I don't. I
yeah,
feel like
okay,
I
yeah.
don't like that term. Because I don't like that term for a lot of reasons. Because that indicates that I possibly don't need a man. No, I absolutely need and want a man. I mean, can I do things without one?
Right.
Would
Absolutely, I
dominant
can.
be would dominant be better?
No, I don't like that shit either. Cause I get that one gets put. I would. I mean, I don't know what to call. I would just say that I'm a
You're
capable woman. I'm a
self-sufficient.
capable woman.
You know what the fuck you want, right?
I
You know
I
exactly
do.
what you want.
I do.
So if you're in that spot, you know what you want. Do you know there's certain type of men that are in that category that will mesh well with that?
Yeah, I think it would. I think in her case, just like in my case, it's going to have to be a man that is doing better than me, if that makes sense, or at
Yeah.
least equally yoked with me. Which I mean, I like I said, I don't want to put too much of my business out there because y'all love to use it as not y'all, but the internet love to
You
use it
bought.
against you. But I don't feel I feel like the only way for a woman that is doing well or has a lot of we'll say a lot of money or status, they need to have a man that is either equal or higher in level to them because a man men you know how you men are. Y'all do not do well when a woman is doing better than paying all the bills or is buying.
No.
You can't, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. I think if for a woman, like, I mean, I don't know who her husband is. That's actually the first time I've ever seen her husband. I mean, I'm a little bit shocked, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what I thought she would be married, who I thought she would be married to, or what he would look like. But I mean, he just looks like an average guy. But I'm sure I can tell you this. I guarantee you, he makes good money. He probably has, and I haven't looked him up. I don't know anything about it. But in order for that dynamic to work, being who she is,
He's
he
a
has
music
to.
he's a music executive and a
He had
talent
to be.
acquisition.
I knew it. He had to be. He had to
Yeah.
have something in her lane, because that you have to. You would have to be able to work with me, to understand my lifestyle, to be able to say, hey, okay, well, yeah, babe, you got this going on.
Bro.
I have the ability to take off work so I can go with you. Or, it can't be some guy that she couldn't be dating, a regular schmegula degular dude that works a 9 to 5, or even somebody that's not in the music industry. They would have to understand her completely. And
But see,
she obviously married someone in the same lane. I don't know if he makes
yeah.
more money. That part I don't know. He could. I would assume that he's either her equal or higher in when it comes to status and money.
But I think like with yeah, he probably makes a good amount of money to take care of it. But I think if you're a girl that makes a good amount, just say you make more than your dude does, I feel like a lot of women have this conceived notion of how like success should be if you're a woman. It's almost like you have to control everything, like literally everything. Like so, it's got to be like everything needs to be controlled. It's more of, hey, I need you to help me out with this. I need you to do 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 this because I have made it. So obviously, I know what the fuck I'm doing. So I need you to do this to come along so we can both do better, right? And then most men in situations where they are, doing really good in certain situations, they're not looking for, you to do fucking everything. They're like, hey, I'm gonna separate this shit. Hey, I'm gonna make my shit. I'm gonna do this. I don't need you around. I don't need you involved in everything. I know what's up. We have a relationship. Hey, if you have any ideas, then we're gonna help each other out on this. But I think for certain times when women have that thing going on, it's more like, I know what the fuck I'm doing, and you need to struggle to get where I'm at to go on this train. I think that's a lot of times the way the shit goes south.
I agree,
It,
100%.
it is not, believe me, I'm gonna tell you, any man in this fucking room right here will tell you, if your girl makes more money than you, that is not a fucking slam. I would be cool with that, like 110%. I don't think anyone would be mad at that. As long as this girl's cool, that's it. Like, and I think a lot of girls like think that that's a problem because she makes more money. Nah, it's what comes with that shit.
Well, I can say in me personally, it has always been a problem.
Mm.
It has
But do you
always
not
been.
think that's it's how you come off? Maybe.
I mean, I don't think it's how I come off. I think it's how I maybe I accepted, because I've never said, oh, you have to make more. I'm not one of those women. You
Yeah.
have to make more money than me. You have to pay my bills because, baby, I got it. I'm good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm not that type of woman. So, and I never wanted to come off it as that type of woman. So then when a woman like that is making good money, a woman who is of a certain stature, me, if I settle for a man, or I don't even like the word settle. If I choose a man who is on a level that most would say, oh, he doesn't make the same amount of money. He doesn't,
Yeah.
have the same status as you. If I say, I don't care, I love him, you put up with that for a certain amount of time. And then if that you expect them, I think a lot of times women like her or like me fall in love with potential. And then we get disappointed when they don't reach that potential.
Well, can I
So,
can I can I throw something in when because I know I hear a lot of women say anything
absolutely.
about potential, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think when a lot of people say potential, I think they say what this person could be, but they're not showing the actions or they're not moving towards it. Because I think a lot of times you should fall in love with potential as long as they're working towards it.
Right.
If they're ambitious, if they're displaying those qualities of this person that's listening, he's on his grind, he's just not there yet. Like what Kevin Samuel says, a Henry. He's somebody that's gonna be there, but he's just not there yet. And
Right.
I think a lot of people get that misconstrued of the potential aspect of, oh, this is what I want him to be. If I can mold him into be this person versus, okay, I see what he's doing. I see he's not there yet. I see what he's working towards. I see he's very ambitious. He's on his purpose. Now it's all right. Now I can rock with him because now I can also pour into him as well as him pouring back into you. So I think that's what that is.
Well, at what point do you graduate from not being a Henry anymore? Like what age? What stage in your life? Because I mean, I'm not a
Yeah,
22-year-old woman, right? So at
facts, facts.
22 or 23, I can see myself saying, yeah, I mean, and I have done it. Let me just be clear. I've done
Mhm.
it several times. I've definitely had me a few Henrys in my life that I said, okay, I know I see the potential. Like you fall in love with the potential and you say, okay, I'm gonna let love lead and the potential and I'm gonna watch him grow and we gonna grow together, and then they just don't. So then you get older, you're in your 30s now, and are you still giving Henrys and regular schmegalas their chances, or are you looking
Yeah,
for a
you
man?
do.
Because
You
she
should.
But you
is
know, like success for a man a lot of times takes a lot longer than it does for a woman. Like for a lot of times, like whatever you get into, like a lot of times it can go real quick for a woman to get that success. But when a man has to go through it, a lot of times because there's so much competition, so much other shit, like it could be a lot slower, and it could be a little like you know, uh, it just doesn't go as fast a lot of times. What I've seen in women. So like, for example, I'll go with like uh, my people I know. Two people who became real estate agents. One was a woman, one was a man. Her real estate career went way quicker than his did, and I would say that he knew probably more than she did. But a lot of times, it depends on what you're working with. Your shit can fucking go up, and then now you're looking at somebody else and like, well, hey, what the fuck's wrong? Like, why aren't you like I did it? Why didn't you do it? And I'm not saying that's every situation. Believe me, I'm not trying to say that's every situation.
right.
Some people just are fucking lazy. Some people just say, you know what, I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? So, but I'm not saying that's a situation, but a lot of times it is not as quick for men to get there.
To
Well, most
piggyback on
men
what
don't
Marcus
get.
was saying, I've been working in corporate America for a long time, just as there are a lot of people on this panel. I'm pretty sure you've probably seen it. I will say, not me being jealous and everything, nothing like that. I'm doing pretty decent. I'm doing well. I'm one of the few, but I have seen women and people a part of LGBTQ community go up the ladder way
Why?
faster. Even I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I have seen that. But I've seen plenty of men. I give you an example. I give you an example. I used to work at a uh, I
It's
used to
called
work at a
DEI.
predominant. I used to work at a predominant women's uh, company. It was predominantly women dominated. I was one of the few black and few men that's in these meetings, right? I used to see men that were in top positions get over talked. This like they did not rock with anything that these men say, and they'll over talk and just keep on going. And they was just totally disregarded in those meetings. So if that is the case within these situations where as you as a woman and your man is out there trying to defeat all the monsters and stuff within corporate America and everything, trying to move up, and he's in these calls and any kind of SOPs or anything that's going on that he's trying to position, and just because the women are dominating or the LGBTQ people are dominating that space, he gets unheard. It's way harder for him to move up.
Yeah,
Right?
but
I seen it firsthand. I'm not saying this happened all the time. I'm just saying I have seen this personally. I have been in these calls. I've been there, and I was like, God, dog. And I it was to a point where I was like, even though I wasn't a top exec or nothing like that, I was like, man, I got an idea, but it's gonna get shot down. So
Yeah,
just imagine if I would have stayed at that company, how long it would take me when I have potential. You see it, I'm smart, right? It how long it'll take me, but I have to just find a different company to work for or whatever. But I mean that's my experience, and I've heard a lot of men say the same thing.
I mean it's all perspective at day's end. But I will say, women get awarded more shortcuts than men do because everybody like titties. Not everybody like dick. You could send anybody a titty picture and they're rated. You send the wrong person a dick pic, you going to jail. So it is what it is. I'm just not to be unserious, but no, on the real though, the thing is, I do agree with what Max said. I have seen a lot of, just like Mimi said, DEI people skip the line, and a lot of women skip the line, and I know a lot of women stick together. So if one woman makes it to a high place, she is actively actually trying to pull people up, and being that there's so much friction between men, a lot of men not necessarily trying to pull everybody up, so to speak. You got to be, of certain caliber, and that's probably why the DEI people making it, to be honest. Because I mean, shit, if Diddy pull you in and like, hey, go do that over there in the corner, and I'm gonna just watch from over here.
Not Diddy.
He might give you a promotion if you with the motion that he's subjected to. But I don't know. But I have seen that happen in corporate. And one thing I would say that she said, she was saying something along the lines of like, be careful who you take advice from. And that sounds good and all, but to me, you never know somebody's life experience when you meet them. Like, you could take advice from homeless people. Just because they're homeless don't mean that they didn't fuck off, $30 million real estate portfolio in the 80s before you knew them. So I'd say take all advice you get into consideration, or no, take all advice you get and listen to it, but be careful of which ones you take into consideration and you adhere to. Because I'm not necessarily the type of person that likes to judge somebody, judge a book by its cover.
Or by
I still need to find the meat and bones of the book. I can't just read the little eulogy on the front or the back and be like, oh, okay, I already know that's like, nah. It's gonna be some gems in the middle that you gotta find. And then when you zoom back out, you like, all right, is it somebody I'm rocking with or no? But if you just be like, oh, well, just like earlier, it's like, oh, well, Mimi ain't got kids. I ain't finna listen to her with nothing that she said about no kids. Well, shit, what if Mimi was a baby kid when she was growing up? She just tell you what she used to do as a kid and what to look out for. You know what I mean? Like, you still got to let the plane land before you like, all right, let me go through the manifesto of passengers and see who was good, who was bad.
I mean, I know tons of nannies that are people who have been nannies to people's children that never had kids, that raised kids. I mean, this was a huge thing back in the day. You had women that lived in the houses with the families and raised their children and had no children. You mean to tell me they don't know how to raise kids? Get out of here. I think that's the stupidest thing in the world to say.
But honestly, though.
But hold on, though. I think Ms. Ferguson, man, she made a good point, though. Being able to have that discernment, too. Yeah, I understand you won't have to judge a book by its cover, but you also have to have that discernment, too, to be able to understand, like, am I really finna listen to this fool? Or are they just talking out the side of their neck? So you also have to pay attention to that as well.
Yeah,
that's where that discernment comes in at.
I don't know if it's just the petty part of the New York City in me or what. I'm gonna listen to anybody, but then if what you say is just ultimately stupid, cover to cover, I'm gonna let you know to your face. You're gonna want to fight me when you're done. Like, you shouldn't have said no stupid ass shit around me. You're not gonna lay that shit down. But
I agree with her, because let's say Kelly Rowland, with everything that she just said right now, when she said you gotta be careful who you listen to, and she said everything about how her husband and her are, they doing their thing. On the opposite side of the coin, it'll be somebody like what her name is, Sierra 7 or something like that.
Sierra 7.
Oh Lord,
Sierra 7.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Miss Freckles is talking about, like that discernment. You can listen to her, but that discernment be like, okay, the information that she's saying is for a certain demographic of women that really do not care about having like a family and all that type of stuff. They on a tricking lifestyle, so her information is good for that. So just like, what a lot of women say, red pill is the detriment of men and all that type of stuff. They really group in red pill content and think all of it is the same. But a lot of times that same discernment need to be applied to see what kind of red pill content is navigated through what you want. Because there is guys that do red pill. If you want to live a fast lifestyle, fast cars, and all that type of stuff, they're gonna tell you what you need to listen to. But then at the same time, you got the red pill that they talk about divorce and stuff, and they be like, look, if you want to be married, hey, this is the reality of what kind of woman that you need to look for, so you don't be in a situation where you getting a divorce and all that stuff. But I do like what Kelly Rowland is doing, because we don't hear a lot of that information, like how she was talking about how like positive situation that's coming out of relationships. We don't hear that. We always talking about the negative stuff, especially with women. It's always negative, and they have the boogeyman complex that anytime we talk about relationships, it always got to come with the negative connotation of a type of man that ain't doing shit.
Yo, Matt. Hey,
and the truth. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, just one second. What you were saying about that red pill shit? Like most people like put it into one spot to whatever they're talking about. Say Myron. Say women hate that motherfucker, right? And I'll agree with some of the shit he says that I'm like doesn't fit my lifestyle, but a lot of shit he does say fits what would make a productive relationship. But you gotta be able to decipher what the fuck it is and break it down to what's gonna fit your life. And I think a lot of people, the mindset they have is whatever he's saying, you're gonna follow that like 100%. No, I'll listen to what he's saying and I decipher like what he's saying and break it down to what's beneficial. And I don't think a lot of people just don't know how to do that shit.
They don't. I mean, it's scientific studies for it. It's the way like the brain works, right? A lot of people think in the surface level, they only hear keywords and what makes them feel good. If you haven't been a person that ever had like a mentor that was really, really tough on you to try to like exercise your mind and started thinking objectively and looking at the world as far as for what it is and not what the fantasy that you want to live in. A lot of people don't go through that. They go through life and they just live life and be told how things are supposed to be. I had fortunate situation where I had a lot of like mentors, and I had real deal mentors where it came with professionally and personally. And it was uncomfortable things that I had to change about myself to become the better person that I am today. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't have those mentors in my life, because I had to look in the mirror about things that I had to work on. A lot of people do not want to do that because they want to be unapologetically themselves, and they want to move in a way of possibility versus probability. I want to have, I want like, let's say for women, I want to be able to do whatever I want to do. And I want to prove to everybody else that I was able to do whatever I wanted to do, and I still got the man, so I can prove to y'all that I got it. But what's the possibility of that happening versus the probability? The probability is low. The possibility is there, but the probability is low. So that's that situation.
Courtney, you got anything, Courtney?
Yeah, I'll jump in there. Rob brought up the fact that she was talking about, taking advice. I'm definitely a person that believes that a CEO can get advice from the custodian or the janitor. You can get advice from anyone. But I think in this case, the host asked her, kind of like what she had to offer the women that felt like they had to put themselves on the back burner because they had other responsibilities or roles. And so I totally agree with what she said. Be careful who you listen to. Because a lot of times people will look at situations and say, I can't do that, or I don't know how you're doing that, or you don't have no help, you don't have support, I could never do that. And what they're doing is just projecting their own fears or insecurities upon you. That's my life. So I don't come from a big support system. My mom actually was the one that supported me through nursing school, but I've gotten my degree, then I went to nursing school, now I'm working on my bachelor's, and I'm a single mama. So I think I kind of relate to what the host is saying a little bit more in terms of don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. You don't have to put your life on the back burner. I care about myself, but I want my education for me more than I do to be an example for my kid, because I matter. And before I always say, before I was a mom, I was Courtney. I'm a die Courtney. I'm always be Courtney. So I have to do what pleases Courtney. So I think that is a really good point. And I'm gonna be honest, I love that for Kelly. I love that she have that right hand, that support, that just a person that says, "How can I help you today?" And I'm glad that that she appreciates it, because so many times people have those solid people in their lives and they don't appreciate it. I tell my dad all the time, sometimes people don't know how to appreciate things that they've always had. So when those things are around you all the time, you don't really know how to appreciate it. But then if you're the other person who really doesn't know what that's like, we really do everything that we got to do to keep you around. So I'm glad that she, is appreciative of the people that support her and give them their flowers, because it is a really big deal. Now, I'm not saying, and I'll end with saying this, when the host asks, how do you like pretty much like still maintain yourself? I think, I'm sorry, I got distracted. I think that we have to kind of lost my train of thought. My kid is running around. So I'll disregard that, but I'll just say for me, I definitely don't listen to a lot of people's advice. I've been told maybe it's just not a good time to go to school, or maybe you should just focus on this. And this time I'm like, I'm going to school. So it's not always easy, but you definitely have to have that mindset that I'm going to go and get it and nothing's going to stop me. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Having children sometimes will delay things, especially if you don't have that support, but it definitely doesn't make it impossible. It took me a minute to finish my degree, but I did it. So that's just where I am. I'm glad that Kelly appreciates the people around her. That's a
Can
really
I
big
ask you a
deal.
question, Courtney? If you
Sure.
don't mind sharing,
Absolutely.
what branch of education did you uh, go down to get your degree in?
I got my associates in general studies, and then I became a nurse. Right now, I have 1 year left on my bachelor's program for my degree in human services with a concentration in child and family services.
Okay.
So once hopefully I'm done by December 2026. And once I'm done, I'll pick up a master's program in clinical mental health counseling.
I'm just making sure if I talk shit about people getting a bachelor's in drawing, you don't come stab me later. That's all.
It's okay. For me, I'm really just chasing the things that I love. It's not really money to me. Of
Well,
course,
no,
everybody want to, live comfortably, but that's really something I'm passionate about. So
no.
I like education for me because I like learning. I'm really a
Mhm.
little nerd, but I definitely don't think titles, really define us. I'm not going to say I'm better than anyone because I'm going to have a bachelor's degree and maybe they don't, you
Well, yeah,
know.
no, it's just growing up in this era of abundant femininity. I ain't gonna call it toxic, but just everybody like the flash degrees and stuff. And then I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to personalize it towards you. That's why I said if you wanted to share,
I've
share.
heard you say that before.
The thing is, just like I don't like when people like, oh, I got a degree, and what you got a degree in? Oh, flipping burgers, really,
Hmm.
nigga? Like I can
No,
flip
I'm with you.
burgers
I've heard
off
you say that
YouTube. So
before.
yeah,
Yeah, I think for me, it's just like I said, I'm really passionate about therapeutic services and counseling and mental health. I love psychology. So I really go to school because I like to learn,
Mhm.
I like I said, and I think even when dating, kind of to mention what Mimi mentioned earlier about dating equal or higher, and even when potential came up, I too have been guilty of dating potential that I saw that person didn't even see. So, like Courtney said, when you're gonna date for potential, this person needs to already recognize their potential and already be working on it. You don't need to be the first person in their lives saying, "You can do it. I believe in you. I see it."
and being that we have two women
No.
on the panel, what I would ask you women is, okay, so you did see the potential in those males per se, but did you water that potential
Oh,
No,
from
I drove myself crazy.
watering that
me,
potential?
me, in my case, I watered it so well that they ended up watering it, going and watering it with another woman.
It'll
Like
happen.
built them up to the point where, okay, let me give you an example. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
dated a guy who was like an amazing DJ, right? Like really good at it, but just didn't have the money for the the equipment, couldn't didn't have the ability to purchase the speakers and I mean I was like, "Ooh baby, you good at it? I got you." I went and bought all of that shit. He had everything. Next thing, and I had all the connects with the local radio station. All of my friends were people in the industry and stuff that I connected him. Next thing you know, he's in the clubs, he's doing all the parties, he's got all next, and before you know it, he's sleeping with some chick from the club who I actually was friends with. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
Wow.
built. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean when I say, like, you fall in love with the potential, you see it in them, you build them, you help them, help them grow. And then, I mean, I could have stayed with him, right? Because he definitely didn't want to go nowhere. But I was like, no, that's where you want to go. I'm gonna let you go ahead and go do that. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
sorry, Mimi. That's like me getting a strip with some new clothes and shit. Like you a DJ? You man, I
This
always
was
been
when I was
at the
young. This was when
club.
I was very young. I'm just
Okay.
saying this was not nothing. This was literally 25 years ago. Okay, because I've always been. I've moved up in my life as far as
I got you.
levels but I've always been the one who I don't know why, but especially when I was younger, I just attracted men who
Who want to get beat up?
that basically wanted, they wanted to get beat up. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
was.
So let me say this. I want to say this real quick though, because also it's something based off of what you said, Courtney. Um, one of the big things I hear as well, and I think that a lot of women should start doing is really owning in on what they are. You being a mom is a great thing. That's not nothing to say that that doesn't mean that you're taking away from who you are or you being the person that you want to be when it comes to your degree and where you want to level up in life. You a mom first. Just like I would say I'm a dad first. I'm gonna be a dad first. Because everything else comes second to that. Right. And so with what you're doing is dope. But also in regards to this Kelly Rowland situation, he's a great dude for doing what he do. A lot of men, and there's a lot of men out here that are like that. That's what a lot of people don't speak on. There are a lot of men, and myself and Raw, we can attest to that. We just linked up. Shout out to Sisters and Sticks. We can attest to that. You know what I'm saying? Because this man here, he bought this woman her business for her birthday.
Oh,
Got her this business, so they both own the business together. You know,
Nice.
they are they're building this business together. It was supposed to be something small, and it's going to be something huge, right? And so I think that as well as this man is pouring into you, they also have to pour into him. So I think her coming from the genuine place, I truly believe that she's truly happy and she's still able to do what she want to do in regards
Hmm.
to her life and be able to whatever business and ventures, acting, music, whatever it is that she's into, whatever she's doing right now. But I think also she's able to pour into him as well. And I think they both are together like this as one.
Hmm.
And so I think that's
They
what a
pour
lot
into
of
each
people,
other.
yeah, that's why I think a lot of people miss the fact they just say, hey man, this is the guy he's pouring into her, but also she's pouring into him as well. Because she wouldn't be with him if that wasn't the case.
Hmm.
No, that's
So
facts. And the thing is too, I like that she brought this to the forefront because there are a lot of men that support their women, and not everybody's trying to choke their woman up, and for lack of better explanation, have their women lose their identity. You know what I mean? It's a bad example because Buddy cheated, but it's like Rashida and Kurt.
yeah.
We know Rashida until all this damn TV bullshit became popular. We ain't really necessarily care to know who the hell Kirk was. Now, did he do some toxic shit? I mean, do men and women fall by the wayside? Yeah, they do. But for what it's worth, even when he did fall by the wayside, he was still grinding and pushing his wife. You got I know Oprah's not necessarily married, but you got her and Steedman. They've been
Mhm.
locked in since Land Before Time. You know what
oh,
I
he's a
mean? And
beard.
It's that land before time.
like
Stedman is a beard. Let's be honest, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a whole
Stedman
nother
definitely got his industry
conversation.
back.
it
Yeah.
is, it is. But
Stedman is a what?
for
A
for the message,
beard.
She's saying that they're in a little lavender.
That's definitely a lavender relationship.
He there for hobby, you know. She like tacos. Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, her and Gail been in a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
relationship for a long time. Okay.
They the power couple.
But you know, it's a lot of men they don't mind if they woman makes more than them, and they'll actually go out to get more connections or whatever to bring back. Just like Mimi said, you know, Mans was a DJ. I bet your turntable's burnt out. I got you. Oh, your speakers, you know, it got a rip in the damn diaphragm. Your music sound like shit. I got you. Now where he fucked up at is he went clapping everything and Mimi up here on the panel with us, and he ain't giving her no kickback. Because another thing for me is if you got a woman that actually puts you in position to accelerate whatever you doing, you should never leave her hanging. Y'all might never work out, but at the same time, she invested money into you that she didn't have to, so she should never have a bill unpaid. And I'm not saying that she gets to go be lazy. She can still do what she's doing. But hey, you know, something happened in my job, payroll messed up, blah blah. Before she finished her sentence, boom, what did you need covered? All right, boom, I'm gonna shoot you that. Because I wouldn't be where I was unless you took the sacrifices you took on me. Now, was I childish for leaving you and doing some other shit? Because, you know, at that point in time, I haven't learned how to practice discipline or whatever, you know. I never got no attention in school. Now all of a sudden all the hoes looking at me and blah, blah, blah. So I'm over here. I'm going to go do the whole carousel for 2-3 years. I don't give a fuck what you do. You wouldn't have got them hoes without this person. So when you balancing your check sheet at the end of the day, that person needs to be included. And I'll just land it right there.
I'm sure he prays for me from time to time while he's still in that club at 2 a.m. to this day.
Hey, but here go the problem though. God bless his heart. Prayer don't pay bills.
Bless